Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Forge your weapon and follow the path of the Jedi Knight. Jedi Academy is the latest installment of the highly acclaimed Jedi Knight series. Take on the role of a new student eager to learn the ways of the Force. From Jedi Master Luke, I drink milk from nipples of monsters, Skywalker. Guys, I woke up yesterday and I had two choices. Review some button-mashing bantha-wank that nobody gives a f*** about. Or go back, guys. Take me back to 2003 to play Star Wars Jedi Academy once again. Now, I haven't played this game for probably about, I would say, 15 years. And so it was good to be back. Guys. I did Jedi Outcast Jedi Knight 2 last year as a retro review. So why not do Jedi Academy this year? Why the hell? Why there? I haven't put any of the mods into this. There are shit tons of mods, some great mods. There's HT texture mods. There's some great Movie Battles 2 mods, which looks awesome. I haven't put them in. This is just the base game review. All I've done is alter the ini file to make it run in 1080p, and that takes 2 minutes to do, and the instructions for that are easily obtained on the Steam forum for this game. It sounds amazing. It's got the John Williams score. It's got all the authentic sound effects from Mickey Mouse Studios. And the game, well, let's see. It starts off with you actually designing your own character. You do not play as Mr. Catern in this, the bearded, loving Jedi. You don't play as him. He is in the game, and you go on missions with him, but you aren't playing him. You are an apprentice. You are a little, a youngling. They killed the younglings. And you have to learn the ways. Now, unlike Jedi Outcast, you start with a lightsaber. Jedi Outcast, you had to go 2 or 3 hours without one because that was the story of Kyle who'd quit. He'd quit. But in this, you start with a lightsaber from the get-go, but you've hardly got any force powers. Now, force powers in this game are divided into 3 sets. You've got 4 you can choose from on the good side, and 4 on the bad side. And the rest are all core ones that you just can't choose or level up. Now, the core ones will just level up over time in the game as you do more and more missions, whereas the good and the dark ones you choose when you get the option. At the end of certain missions, you will get an option to choose one, and you can then choose whether to level it up right up to level 3. Now, you have to be careful because if you choose constantly the dark side of the Force, that will have repercussions later on in the game. Good. Needless to say, I started as a nice young little Jedi wannabe and ended up being Emperor Palpatine 14 hours later. Now, the story isn't as good as Jedi Outcast, and I'm going to be comparing a lot of this with Jedi Outcast because you should own them both, to be fair. But it's just not as good, and I think it's because of the way that the story's told in this. You can choose which mission you want. You'll get like a choice of 5. You can choose which ones you want to do. You can skip one, but you have to do all the actual main story missions, which is usually about 4 out of the 5 that you have to actually do. Then you'll be given another set of 5, and then another set of 5. It's about 15 hours worth of gameplay in the actual game. The missions, they start off very easy because they're just introducing you to lightsaber combat. Now, the lightsaber combat is key to this game because, like I said, you start with the lightsaber and it'll be your main weapon of choice. The only time you'll really switch away from lightsaber is situational battles where you need a special weapon like a sniper rifle, or you might want to throw a grenade, or you might just want to get out a bit of a rapid fire gun to take out something that's just slightly out of range of throwing your lightsaber. But the lightsaber attacks is where it's all about, and you get about 7 attacks with each stance. Now this can get a little bit complicated because you have a single lightsaber which has 3 stances. It has light, medium and heavy. Now, light's the fastest, heavy is the slowest. Each stance has different moves. You have different moves that you can do with it. They all kind of do the same thing in the sense of attack someone in front of you, behind you, to the side of you. But it's different ways of doing it. There's about 7 different attacks each. But you will eventually get the choice of having to dual wield a lightsaber. You can still stick single lightsaber, but you can also opt to dual wield, or you can go with Darth Maul's twin bladed lightsaber. I went with dual wielding. Now, the problem with dual wielding is if you choose to go back and just be a single wield, it will always be stuck on the light attack, which I don't really use that often. I like the mid attack. So I just had to stick with dual wielding. Now dual wielding is awesome. It has some fantastic moves that I had to learn, and once I got them off I was absolutely wrecking everybody. It was just so much damn fun, but I couldn't help but think that I wish I'd kept just single lightsaber, or maybe he's even gone with the Darth Maul one just to see what that was like. When I played this back in the day in 2003, I can't even remember what I went with when I completed the game back then. I spent most of my time playing multiplayer back then because it was massive, the multiplayer circle in this. There still is multiplayer and it still does work and it still does have a community, but I never got around to actually trying it. Now the combat ramps up as you get through the game. There's a few boss fights that you'll have to do in this game. There's a few puzzles that you'll have to do in this game. Nothing on the scale of Jedi Outcast, and certainly nothing as hard as Jedi Outcast. Also the levels aren't as good as Jedi Outcast. They're kind of more basic levels. You'll not get stuck very often in this compared to Jedi Outcast, when you constantly were getting stuck, not knowing where to progress. It was a bit too brutal, I think, Jedi Outcast. This is a bit more casual than Jedi Outcast, but only in the level design, certainly not in the combat, as I found to my horror as I started to come against the really tough bosses towards the end of the game. In fact, if you watch the footage, you will constantly see, and I'm not ashamed to admit this because pretty much everybody else does it as well, is you'll see autosave going off all the bloody time. I was pressing it probably every 3 or 4 minutes when I'm actually playing the game, especially if I'd just completed a really bad, hard fight, because there's nothing worse than completing a hard fight and then going a bit further on in the game, dying and having to complete that fight again because it's a checkpoint based system. But you can manual save anytime you want. I said auto save, I meant manual save. I've just bound it to a key and I just smack the key and then I know I'm not going to have to redo that battle again. And the thing is, with this game, you can fight the same guy 10 times and lose 5 of them. You could fight him again 10 times and win 10. You could fight him again 10 times and win 7. That's the way the game is. It's not a case of, oh, I've beat him once, I'll beat him every time. That's not how this game works, because the combat is so fluid in this. It's usually a mistake that you make, and when you're playing a game solid like what I'm doing, you get fatigued. It's like hard to concentrate and you make mistakes. And the way you'll make mistakes in this game is your lightsaber, if you don't do anything with it, is constantly on defense. So nothing's going to get through that defense. If you turn left or right, you're opening yourself up and you're going to get hit. And you will be killed in a couple of shots in this game. That's how, I mean, unless you're playing it on the easy level. Don't do that. Play it on medium or hard, because they are really challenging levels, especially the hard level. But as you are doing your moves, you will have to turn, because the nature of the game is you use your mouse to slash left, slash right as you commit an attack, and maybe jump and turn and do the 360 to get more power, and you will open yourself up to attack and you will die. And you have to really concentrate when you're fighting in this. It's not just spamming. It looks like it is, but it really isn't. I said this in Jedi Outcast. When you're in a fight, you know where everybody else is in the room. It's essential you do, because if you don't, you'll get shot in the back and people will kill you with a few shots from a blaster, and you won't be able to defend yourself against it, because your lightsaber will defend against any shots fired at your front, but not from behind, obviously. So you need to be aware of where everybody is. I generally take everybody out with Force Lightning because I've gone way down to the dark side. The dark side is way more fun than the light side, let's be honest. Force, hold, choke, choking people, lifting them up in the air, you just feel so damn powerful, and then just throwing them off the edge of a precipice or something like that, or pushing them off with force push, or pulling them over your head and seeing them go flying, or just electrocuting them like the fucking Emperor. It's just so damn pleasing to do this. You feel so powerful for £7, guys. And honestly, the sad thing is, we've never had a game yet since 2003 that has made us feel like a powerful force-wielding Jedi. Why? What the f*** is wrong with people? What's with all this bullshit that was in the last Star Wars game that we got last year? It was nothing like this. You just never felt that you were a really powerful Jedi. You hardly got any force powers. We need these games redoing. We've had Command and Conquer redoing. We're getting Mafia in August. Redo these. They don't need a lot of redoing, but oh man, if they could redo this and just tweak it a little bit, what a bloody game, and especially to reignite the multiplayer as well would be fantastic. But anyway guys, there it is. Star Wars Jedi Academy is definitely worth a buy. Is it as good as Jedi Outcast? I doubt it. I think I preferred Jedi Outcast because better story, and I'm going to say I think the combat was just a little bit better in that. But they're both fantastic games and definitely worth having, definitely worth a buy. Still hold up today in 2020.